The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time again. I want to welcome you to Press Pass Live. I finally figured out a way to get this to work when it's just me and still have it live where you guys can call in. So for that, I owe myself a little clap, give myself, some adulation here for doing such a great job. It is week 4 in the Grown Folks Madden League. Things are progressing right along. And you know what? It's a little quiet tonight. Everybody seems to be in the NFL mode and they're out there kind of watching games. I think a lot of guys are out traveling and doing all kinds of stuff tonight. So, unfortunately, there aren't a lot of people around to be on the show. But it is live. It is up. It has been posted. So you guys can come, join in, check us out. We're going to jump right into it. I appreciate you for listening to this. If anybody calls in, I appreciate you for calling in. Other than that, it's just going to be me. I'm going to sit here and talk to myself, but it's all good because the Grown Folks Madden League is rolling right along. So we're going to kind of get to this later, but we're changing up our site. We're doing some new stuff. It's some fun things are right around the corner, so I can't wait to get us rolling. Let's just jump right in there. I thought we were already going to be through week 4 by the time our next show popped on, but we weren't able to quite get there. I lie. We are through week 4. We're in week 5. I'm already messed up. I'm already telling you the wrong thing. So let's take a quick look at week 3, which was a great week in the Grown Folks Madden League. Let's take a look at some games. We're figuring these sliders out, and I feel like we finally hit it. Here in week 5, it feels good. Stats are looking good, so I feel really good about where we're at. So taking a quick look at some games, the Cardinals, who are really the team to beat right now, at least in the NFC, they moved to 4-0 after week 4, but they whip up on the 49ers, who have only found one win so far, 24-6. They're really tough, the Cardinals are at home. They play amazing defense. And you know what? We've had a hard time keeping the 49ers owner here. So this new guy's figuring it out, and I'm glad he's staying. Another team that we're having a hard time keeping an owner out. I actually have a new guy who's at the Detroit game in the NFL tonight. He's going to join in tomorrow. He's taking over the Redskins. I lie. He's taking over the Rams, but the Redskins, we did have a new owner this week. I think this game is a sim win, so the Giants come out of it with a 44-27 win. Next up is the Browns, one of the more surprising teams, I guess, in the Grown Folks Madden League, beating up on the Raiders and giving the Raiders their first loss of the season. The reason I say the Browns are surprising is just because of the stats that he's putting up with Johnny Manziel. Johnny goes 11 for 18 with 4 touchdowns, 290 yards. Austin Davis even got thrown in there for a couple of plays. He doesn't do anything except for go for 2 for 2 for 109 with a touchdown. And the Browns are red hot. Not a ton of running. 11 carries for Crowell, 10 for Turbin, 57 and 25 respectively. On the other side, the Raiders are struggling just because their quarterback got hurt, and so they're struggling to try to find somebody with some consistency, and that's going to really hurt them. Josh Gordon goes off, 5 receptions, 225 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Just pretty amazing kind of game from him. 2 interceptions from Justin Gilbert, who I am happy to say is now a New Orleans Saint. 3 from Tashawn Gibson, and the Browns play extremely well here at home and get the 35-21 win over the Raiders. Next up is the Patriots murdering the Jaguars 58-0. The Cowboys win 27-14. Next, the Jets, who are another one of those really, really good teams. I've seen some of this game. The Jets are just, they're powerful. They play great defense. They turn the ball. They get a lot of turnovers. They make you turn the ball over. They beat up on the Eagles, who actually beat me up here in Week 5, 50-24. So hanging a 50 burger on them. The Titans, one of the other really powerful team to beat out of the AFC, they won against the Colts 47-17. Next up, the Vikings beat up on the Chargers 37-20. The Titans take out the Buccaneers 26-14. It seemed to be the week of the home team, as not too many away teams fared very well. Then you got the Lions beating up on the Broncos 41-34. I actually heard about this game. Let's take a look at it. These two guys had a back and forth game. They were figuring each other out, trying to turn each other over. Matter of fact, the Lions get 2 turnovers. It was the Broncos who come away with 3. Flip-flop that, I apologize. The Lions take away 3 times. The Broncos take the ball away twice. I can't talk tonight. I'm sorry. Peyton Manning gets 2 touchdowns, 317 yards. He does go 20 for 29, which is not too bad. Matthew Stafford, though, passes for 410 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. The Broncos did have a running game going, 19 for 129. C.J. Anderson really ran the ball well. But this was the Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate, Eric Ebron show. Each of those receivers going over 100 yards. Ebron with 3 receiving touchdowns. Calvin with 2. That was all about those 3 guys. When the Lions are playing well, they're mixing in that tight end. They're getting big plays from him. And this was one of those really good games from the Lions as they are frustrated. My buddy Double Zero trying to figure out the game, but frustrated or not, he beats a very good Broncos team at home, 41-34. Next, you got the Dolphins taking out the Bills, 31-17. The Bills are trying to figure out their quarterback situation. The Chiefs actually win one of the few home games on the road, 34-16. The Bengals and the Ravens go at it with a 20-19 win for the Bengals. I think I heard something about this game. There was a screen pass from the Ravens, if I remember correctly, that was picked off for a pick 6 late in this game and ended up giving the win to the Bengals. Andy Dalton and Joe Flacco both struggled today. Both of them throwing multiple interceptions. Joe with 3, Andy with 4. Joe struggled, period. 13 for 30 for 188. Andy fared a little bit better, but still the 4 interceptions hurt his team. Jeremy Hill, 11 carries, 63 yards. You'd like to see the Bengals get more rushing attempts there because Jeremy was running the ball pretty well there. Justin Forsett struggled, almost 20 carries, only 35 yards. Half of those yards came on one play with a long of 15. He was spreading the ball around, but just struggling on offense completely. The good thing for the Ravens is they have a great defense. 4 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 1 sack from Terrell Suggs. This was a great game from 2 really good teams. The Bengals are figuring this thing out and have a good thing going over in the AFC. A couple of your other late games, the Bears smashing. All right, guys, I apologize. We had to take a quick break. My wife needed her phone back, and that was the only way that I could actually get the Uber conference to work. So we had to take that down for a second. Just going to record this. Go ahead and blast it out there here in just a few minutes. I was going to go ahead and tell anybody, but guess what? There's nobody really paying attention to me right now, so let me finish this up. Like I was saying, the Seahawks get blown out at home by the Bears 42-38. I say blown out, not really blown out, but you didn't think the Seahawks would give up that many points. Actually, it was a pretty good game. The Bears and the Seahawks are still trying to get some things going and figure out their team. Russell Wilson struggled, 4 touchdowns, but 2 big interceptions. He did go 20 for 28, so a little over 50% there. What am I talking about? That's not 50%. I'm an idiot. But you want to see those numbers better. He does go for 403 yards with 2 big interceptions, especially when Marshawn Lynch is getting 17 carries for 101. Now that I'm looking at these stats, I'm the moron. This was a sim win. I can almost guarantee it. I don't know what happened in this game. I think both of these owners couldn't connect that week. But anyway, moving right along. You guys can at least get a good laugh out of this. You could see we were not professionals. There was no script going into this. The Saints get blown out by beat the Panthers. I apologize. The Panthers came in late. I was waiting for him to get back. Cam Newton struggled, threw a bunch of interceptions. The Saints come away with their only real win of the season. They did get a win in Week 4, but it was a sim win, 31-10. And then the Steelers wrap up Week 3 with a 28-7 victory over the Rams, who now are going to have a new owner. Let's hop into Week 4. The Chargers and the Browns. I think this had to be simulated because they could not connect, but the Chargers coming away with a 57-43 victory. The Falcons with a big victory over the Texans, 17-5. Both of those teams played some really good defense. Just look at a couple of stats here. Both teams did not allow a lot of passing yards. There was 8 penalty yards for the Texans, 10 for the Falcons, so that wasn't it. There was only 1 takeaway from each team, so that wasn't it. This was just good up, straight, old-fashioned defense. Both quarterbacks throw an interception. Both of them struggled to get the ball in the air. Good thing for the Falcons, though, is Tevin Coleman gets 101 rushing yards. Foster struggled. I mean, he did average 4.1 yards a carry, but he just didn't get the ball enough to make a difference. And then Ryan Mallett gets a carry. Don't forget your 80-20 rule there, Mr. Texans. We got to get some other running backs with some carries. But guess what? You only ran the ball 11 times, so I guess it isn't that big of a deal. This was just good old-fashioned defense. Like I said, 2 sacks from the Falcons and an interception, whereas the Texans come away with a fumble, an interception, but they don't get to Matt Ryan, and the Falcons come away with a big victory. The next game is the Steelers winning a good ball game at home, 34-28 against the Ravens. The Cardinals beat up on the Rams 28-14. This game actually caused the Rams to quit. The Rams were a friend of mine, but he really isn't liking this Madden. And after you get whipped by Nolan and that really great defense, he decided this just wasn't for him. Next, the Buccaneers win 20-17. The Panthers are struggling, but you know what? He hasn't really got to play a whole lot, but he's back, and I expect more from this team. This was just a good old-fashioned ball game as both teams went at it. It's going to be a good rivalry to watch as our league progresses. Jameis Winston goes 15 for 27 for 285, a touchdown and an interception, whereas Cam Newton goes 11 for 21, cuts down on those interceptions, doesn't get a touchdown pass. Jonathan Stewart, 12 rushes for 63. Cameron Artis-Payne, 11 rushes for 48 yards. Doug Martin, 21 carries for 69 yards. We did adjust this going into Week 5, so I expect those rushing numbers to get better. The passing numbers are pretty unreal, though. Vincent Jackson, 4 for 111. Austin Seferian Jenkins, 7 for 118. Just going off, making big plays all around the place. James Michael Johnson gets the interception for the Buccaneers, but they also get a couple of sacks, some forced fumbles in here. And this was just a good old-fashioned NFC South ball game. Next up, you got the 49ers with a nice victory against the Packers. The Packers are struggling this year. They haven't found a win, but yet that is a team loaded with talent. The Buccaneers right the ship after falling to the Lions last week, and they win 30-13. The Colts come away with a big victory for Alex and his Colts with a 20-7 victory over the Jaguars, who I still believe are a very good team. They've got some wins under their belt. They're going to build up something nice. This was kind of the shocker for me. Excuse me. The Bills beating up on the Giants 31-12. The Bills are struggling to figure out this game, figure out their situation with the quarterback. They actually have traded some quarterbacks, but yet they come away with a big victory. The next game up was my Saints getting a win. The owner could not come around, and so unfortunately I had to take a sim win, and those stats are way overblown. The Bengals come away with a 47-28 victory over the Chiefs. The Dolphins fall to the mighty Jets 52-21. This game was played pretty late one night, and the Chiefs just stuck it to them and did a really good job. That is going to be a tough team. I can't wait to see maybe a possible Jets-Titans matchup later in the season. The Raiders at 3-1 beat up on the Bears 38-24. The Eagles come away with a 31-25 win on the road against the Redskins. The Eagles moved to 4-1, actually 3-1, but they beat me this past week in Week 5. The Lions come away with a 17-14 victory to move to 2-2, and this was another really good game as Double Zero is kind of figuring out his team. Matthew Stafford struggled again, 17 for 34 with 2 interceptions. Not much of a running game. Russell Wilson, though, also struggled. He goes 7 for 13, 78 with 2 interceptions. Then he gets hurt, which really throws a wrench in their team. Marshawn Lynch doesn't really do a whole lot, 13 carries for 36. Just wasn't a lot to talk about in this game. It was a dog of a game. Okay, yeah, there you go. Little sound effects just to mess with you. But this game was all about the defense. A bunch of sacks for the Detroit Lions. They get some interceptions in there. So do the Seahawks. But the Lions make just enough plays on offense, just enough field goals, and they come away with a 17-14 victory as they traveled on the road to see the Seahawks. And that is a look at your Week 4 games. We're already into Week 5. You can kind of see these scores already at the top here. We're going to be making some changes to our Daddy League page, so stay tuned for that. I'm really excited about getting that thing rolling and get it going. I know a lot of guys are on tonight playing some 2K. We now have 4 leagues in the gamers community, but let's keep talking about the Grown Folks Madden League right now. Let's take a look at a couple of your stat leaders. We're going to come right up here and just look at some of your leaders as we progress through our season here. Bryce Petty is a monster, and he's lighting it up for New England. Johnny Manziel was 2 seconds from becoming a Saint, but the deal just fell through at the last moment. But those are your 2 young stud quarterbacks who are tearing up the league so far with 1,400 and 1,300 yards respectively. Levante Bell is leading the league in rushing yards at 466. Right on his heels is the LSU alumni Jeremy Hill, bringing it in for the Tigers with 461 yards. I expect these numbers to improve. Like I said, we made just a couple of tweaks. We might make one more tweak down a little, but I think we've hit the sweet spot. The rushing now is not easy, but it's not extremely difficult with the 30 and 40 yard games, which was pretty much the average for a little while there. Next, you got the receiving leaders who these numbers are a little crazy. Josh Gordon, 624 yards. Devin Smith, 588. Those are your 2 studs that are just tearing up the league. That's why their quarterbacks are leading the league in yards. Those receiving yards are getting a little out of hand. That's why we're probably not going to tweak any quarterback sliders right now. And we may even tweak defensive adjustments just a hair because those receiving numbers are getting kind of crazy. Your tackle leaders, Deontay Whitner is 30 tackles. Rolando McClain with 23. On the sacks front, we've been trying to adjust that, and I think we may have hit it just right. Alden Smith with 8 sacks. Deontay Fowler for the Jacksonville Jaguars with 7. And Alden Smith is a surprise. You didn't really expect him to do that in Oakland. I'm sure that's probably a user thing. What doesn't surprise me is your next leader, Tyrann Mathieu, the LSU alumni with 7 picks. What that guy does with his players is unbelievable. I mean, he just makes plays. He forces you into some ugly throws, and he does not surprise me. He's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, that guy is a really, really good player. Taking a quick look at your players of the week from last week, the outcast quarterback for the Buffalo Bills goes over to San Diego and lights it up with 4 touchdowns, 410 yards, and 1 interception. Stephon Anthony from my New Orleans Saints, 7 tackles, 3 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Sorry, I can't take any credit for that. That was a sim win, unfortunately. But you know what? He still won Player of the Week. And there are your Players of the Week for Week 4. We are consistently in already in week 5. And games, like I said, are already coming in. I think we're going to advance probably Monday night into week 6. Let's just talk about a couple of rules reminders. This is kind of our section that we like to remind everyone about the rules, because we love rules. Actually, I know that most guys hate them, but they are a necessity. You got to have them. And you know what? Like them or not, they make our league what is. I know, but we got to do it. So here are a couple of quick rule reminders. I like to do this every week. Number 1, don't forget 2 quick things. Number 1, your 80-20 running back rule. Look, for every 4 carries that your starter gets, somebody else has to get a carry. It can be a fullback, it can be a running back, another running back, it can be a quarterback. Look, it takes a little getting used to. Quick sub changes can make it happen for you, make it easy. But once you start doing it, you realize it really does help. It makes our league better. It is a good rule. Fatigue does work better in this game, but it's a good rule to have in there and make sure that other guys are getting some carries. The other thing that I'm seeing a whole lot of, this is kind of on both sides, which is the same plays over and over and over. And the one that I mentioned this on the last podcast that really bothers me is the all verticals from tight ends, receivers, everything. We just call everybody on a vert route, and then you just chunk it deep. I don't want to see that every third down. It just bothers me. It just seems like you're using that as a crutch. You know it works easy in this game, and so you're just going to go to the well. And I'd rather us not do that. Look, mix it up. Call other formations. Look, even when I know something's coming, if I know I've used a certain formation just too much, I've used it a lot. I use Coach's Glass, like I said, so I can see my stats right there in front of me. I try to go and I just pick something else. Like, just get over it, move on, keep it sim, mix it up. On defense, the thing that I'm seeing a whole lot of is the same plays over and over, the constant blitzing or the constant cover 2. I'd like to see us mix that up just a little bit. Let's change that up. Get away from the cover 2 every third down. Get away from the blitz every first down. You guys can do better. You're better players than that. In the games that I've seen it, the owner doesn't even need to do that. Those are good ball players. Just take that out of your repertoire. And you know what? Find something else. Do something else. Find another play that is going to work. And I think it's going to be better for you. And that is our rules reminder section. There you go. It's over, and we can now move on to the last couple of things that we have here, which is actually just a couple of quick announcements because we've covered just about everything else. One of those announcements is if you'd like to give to the league, look, I have a treasury post in our boardroom. I will gladly be open about where this money goes, but we had one of our owners, Double Zero, that gave to our league that bought the Daddy League page. It's cost $40 every single year. We do use free forums and a free website, but we have an owner who's given to the website so that I can go ahead and purchase us a domain, which will happen this week. We're going to purchase us our own domain so that we look like we actually have our stuff together a little bit. And there's also going to be some money that's going into redesigning our Daddy League page. If we also buy championship rings for our champions, that's something that I want to start this year. So we'll get your size. We'll mail you off a ring. Look, it's not a Super Bowl ring, but it's something cool and neat and makes us a little bit different. If you'd like to donate to the league, we have a PayPal set up. You can gladly do that. I'll hook it up. I'll show you how we do this, and we'll get things going. So, anyway, check us out. If you want to give to the league, if you want to help out, I think right now we have 4 months worth of a domain paid for. We have 1 ring. I've kind of committed to that. The first ring is paid for, but if you want to do that, domain is $5 a month. The rings are $20 every time that we have a champion. We'll probably have 3 to 5 champions every Madden. And then there's going to be some money that's going to go into the Data League site. So if you want to check it out, if you want to help us out, there are some opportunities for you to do that. Just let me know. I'll hook you up, and I'll show you how we do it, and we'll get you in there and let you help us out, because I appreciate everything that we're doing. Here are a couple of things. When you check out our Daddy League page, you can come right down here to our news section. That's the league news. Here's the league Twitter. But you can come right here to Around the League. And this is where everyone's stuff is going to go. So once they post a new message, a new article, anything like that, you can come here and you can check it out. I, of course, try to post every single week. I try to post every time we have a press pass. I know the Titans are very active on here. So check us out, man. Come read this stuff. You can also go to the forums and read the different links that we have up. But I want you involved. That's what Gamers is all about. That's why we created this community, so that you could be a part of something that's more than just playing games. That's what some guys like to do. They just want to play games, but that's not what we're about. We're about really that extra content. You come right here to the Media Center. I've got some stickies here explaining multi-Twitch, explaining how to use Twitch, explaining how to use Twitch on your Daddy League page. If you haven't done that, make sure you do that. How to post a blog on the Daddy League page. Come right here to the news section. You can post right there. Also, something new that we talked about last podcast. I'm not even sure it's being used just yet, but the scouting reports. I'm going to put up a scouting report tonight on the Philadelphia Eagles, who I played just the other day. So use that. Check us out. Give us some posts. Be active. If you're in here just to play, that's fine, but we really want to find owners who want to do more than just play. And then one of my announcements is the new look on our website. So I have kind of redesigned our new look. We now have added a fourth league. So we have the Grown Folks Madden League. We have the Winners Football Club. We have the Gamers Hockey Club. And tonight began the Grown Folks Squad, which is our 2K team. Each squad, each league has their own site. So you can check out the sweet Grown Folks jerseys and really cool stadium that they have built. You can also check out the Gamers Hockey Club and their site that they've got going. They are playing some games, and they just won the other night in OT. And we also have the new Winners Football Club that is now rolling since the game has dropped. Check it out. They just got promoted to Division 9. So we have a little something for everybody. I'm sure that as the new first-person shooter games drop, that those will be out there, and we'll get some communities going for that. Check us out, man. We've got some neat stuff going, and we want you to be a part of it. This league is for you, and it's all about online gamers and things like that. I am looking for somebody to do a hot seat, so if you'd like to be part of a hot seat, I'll show you what that looks like. The hot seat's a quick fire, rapid question and answer type interview that we do on the GroupMe chat. It's all done in chat, and then I copy and paste. The last one I did was with Ducks. It's about a week ago. I'd love for you to check us out, though, and if you'd like to be a part of this, read this. Here's the whole interview. I'd love to interview you. It's just something fun that we can do. It's something that we can get going and just have some give some extra content for guys to read. Don't forget, please check out the Daddy League and make sure that you have your Twitch connected to the Daddy League page, because when guys stream their games, it's going to pop up right here. Of course, the Broncos aren't streaming a game. They're playing a little something else. But we want all the games to be able to pop up right here so guys can click it and watch your link. Matter of fact, if we check it out, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a little advertisement here. But I think that Danger is playing some 2K. Might even get to check out those sweet jerseys that those guys made. Oh, I think it actually might be over. I think it might be down. So, yep, he's offline already. So check us out, man. Make sure that your Twitch is on there. Make sure that you're all updated. We want you to have your stuff ready to go. Make sure that you're checking out the rules. We are in discussions of tweaking a few things when the off season gets here to allow guys a little bit more flexibility with their team. But I really like what we've got going. I really like what's going on. The chat is blowing up. We've got a game tonight. Looks like the Falcons game is going down. But look, a lot of action going on. Tune in on Sundays. Probably right now they're going to start. The show's going to start at 7 o'clock. I try to keep them around 30 to 40 minutes. So come check us out. Come listen to the show. We're going to post it up. If you want to be on Hot Seat, give me a holler. If you want to give towards the new site, or if you want to give towards any of the new stuff that we've got going, let me know and we'll make that happen for you. I appreciate you guys listening to us. It has been a great show. I appreciate everybody for being here, listening. And I guess that's going to be it. I'm going to sign out with that. We'll check you out next week. Week 5 Advance is coming up on, I think it's Monday night, 11 o'clock in the afternoon, or at night I should say, Central Time. We'll see you for week 5, 6, and probably 7 by the end, the next show. All right, guys. Peace out.